to another episode of the Poker Media Australia podcast. Landon Blackwell here, of course, joined by Managing Editor Extraordinaire, Ben Blaschke. Ben, some exciting news coming out of Sydney no more than a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, given that for anybody in Sydney this week, it's absolutely pouring down trying to find things to do. Well, the Star Poker Room is back open again from this Saturday the 20th, cash game poker back on between 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. every day. So that's, it's good news. It's a good start.
Absolutely. And of course, poker's still going gangbusters up in the Sunshine State, APT Gold Coast in full swing. And one man who will be heading up there very soon, a historic figure in his own right, overcoming the biggest field in Australian poker history, fresh off the victory at the QPC main event, Mr. Phil Stamler. Phil, great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Now, Phil, it's been a couple of weeks now since your historic victory up there at the Gold Coast Turf Club, but has it sunk in at all?
It's very surreal. It was incredible that I look back at it and what I've achieved through it. It's a goal of every poker player. And to get where we did, or to get where I did, and to go through that field, it was incredible. And we all play it to win it. And I was just lucky enough and good enough to win it.
Let's go through those numbers, of course. The final number that we received, 2,405 entries. Now, that, of course, was made up partly due to a number of ghost entries, but the number of uniques alone, 2,163, was, it's absolutely staggering. And we got almost as many in Victoria during the APLPT Victoria main event. Did you ever expect poker to be as popular as it was since Joe Hasham won it in 05?
I think I've been playing since 06 in the old APL days in the pub where they first come across, basically in Queensland. I could see it growing. I could see the numbers getting bigger. There was more avenues. They opened up another couple more leagues. I think there's probably 4 final leagues, big leagues at the moment. And yeah, the numbers are getting huge. They're getting more opportunities from small amounts of money to big amounts of money, which varies in the poker players themselves, whether how much they want to afford or how much they want to outlay for it. And I think that gives it a wide version and a wide berth for people to play.
Phil, Landon and I have been talking a lot about the growth of these sort of mid-tier tournaments now that are becoming hugely popular. And of course, WPT QPC was one of those. For yourself, sort of obviously this they've been playing since 2006, and now these sort of tournaments at this, quite a good price point, but still with great prize pools. It must be sort of nice to come in and have that opportunity to, play in an event that is affordable for so many people, but still to have a great first prize to target.
Yes, I think the prize pool is obviously an incentive for people to play. We look at the prize pool, we look at the field, we look at the size and how much we're outlaying to actually win. I think that's growing, and the higher amounts of money are not getting the big numbers that over course the States and America and Europe and that do get, but they are growing as well. I'm not for the high end. I'm for the mid-range to high end sort of thing, in between. But yeah, as I said, a variation of different choices.
So what you're saying there, Phil, is regardless of which price point you go into, whether it be the lower end of the schedule, the higher end of the schedule, it doesn't take away from the experience, though. I mean, having been there at the QPC, like, you just know how much effort goes into organizing such big events, and and how well that they're executed. And the same pretty much goes for everywhere else. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I said, whether you're paying the low end or the high end, it doesn't matter. It's affordability for the person. But I think everybody's learning since it's been around since inception in 2006, round about those years. People have learnt more. They've understood the game more. They're up there with the bluffs, the good hands, how to play it, the betting sizes and things like that. So people have learnt more. They've understood it more. We've played it more, so they're getting more experience. So whether it's a low end, an amount to buy in, or a high end, you're getting very similar caliber.
Well, Phil, tell us a bit about yourself, about, away from the tables. And then I guess, aside from that, also a little bit about, you mentioned that you started playing in 2006, but just, how often do you normally play, and how seriously do you tend to take poker?
Look, I play as much as my wife will let me. I've got an actually poker shirt saying I love playing poker if my wife lets me. She bought it for me. So I play as much as I can. I play regularly to catch up with some mates on a Wednesday night at Sunnybank, which is a WPT, ironically. I play at the QA, which is Brisbane Poker United. They've been running that, and we've been playing that for quite a few years now, about 5 years, and we've built up a big reputation, and they're going pretty strong. And that varies from $60 to $250 to around about that figure. So I play as much as I can. If my wife's doing something, she doesn't need me as a family unit, I'll ask her and sneak out a bit and have a few games. I go down to the casino sometimes, and a bit of cash game, bit of poker. But look, on an average, maybe two times a week, 3 times a week.
And what about aside from poker? I mean, what else? What do you do for work and living and all that sort of thing? Tell us a bit about.
I did. I'm a tile restorer, so I polish marble, stone, seal it. So after the tilers have laid it, all stone has to be sealed. So I'll clean it all up for them and seal it. And I've had a business for about 15 years doing that. Other hobbies besides poker, I collect coins, coin collecting. My family, I've got a big family unit. I've got 3 children and 5 grandchildren. So we get together quite a bit, and
no doubt you've regaled them with tales of your triumphs since.
Yeah, they'll get sick of hearing it, but I won't get sick of telling it.
No doubt.
Anyone who wants to hear will listen. Anyone who wants to listen, they'll hear. Basically,
Phil, I'm interested in talk about the journey through a field that big. First of all, coming into day one, I guess you didn't know it's going to be the biggest field of all time, but you know it's going to be a big field. What's the mindset? I mean, are you even envisioning, winning final table, or you're just sort of thinking, get through the first hour, get through the first few levels? What's the mindset coming into an event like that?
Well, just to bring it back a bit further, the QPC had flights that we all went through, and I was on the last flight. There was 3 hands to go. They played the last 3 hands. So I was at 12 o'clock at night, last 3 hands to go. Second last hand, I woke up with ace queen. Diamonds. I ended up getting it all in for 140,000 and got beaten. So I'm left for 14,000 on the last hand, and I'm dealing the last hand. My mindset is I'm just going to dump all this. What am I going to do? I'm dealing the last hand. I look down at 2-4 offsuit, get 14,000 in because I'm not bagging 14,000 on my last hand. Wake up, 2 on the flop, 4 on the river, which gives me 2 pair, and I pick up 53,000, which is the starting stack. So going into day one, I had a starting stack of 53,000, which is not a lot. So my mindset wasn't there. I was coming down for the high rollers because I come from Brisbane to the Gold Coast. And I said to my wife, I might go early and just play my stack and see how it goes. So I wasn't overly confident because of my stack size. The blinds were 4-8 at that stage, and 4, 8, and 8, which is 20,000 for one blind, and I had 53,000. I sat down at the table. There was a big bunch of stacks in front of me, and I informed them all that they need to double me up. And so I played a little bit fearlessly for that first hour or so, and then started to get a chip and started to build a little bit on that. I got back-to-back kings, which helped, and doubled up on both of them. And then I had something I could work with then. So my mindset was better. I felt better to come into that day, that last day. My goal was then to make the money, and then from then on, I made the money at that stage. And then my goal was, I thought I'm in a big chance here. I feel really comfortable with how I'm playing. I'm in a good mindset. Everything's going well. Not making too many mistakes. Not taking too many risks. And my next goal was the top 2 tables, which I achieved. And then my next goal was the final table. And then my next goal was to win it.
So when was the point where you first thought to yourself, actually, I've got a chance of, potentially winning it, or certainly getting very close?
Well, they chopped us down to the second last 2 tables to go. And I run my wife in Brisbane, and I think it was about 11 o'clock or 11:30. She had to go to work next day. And I said, "Do you want to come down?" I said, "I'm going to win this." I said, "Would you like to drive down?" So it's an hour for her to drive down. She goes, "I'm really, really tired." She goes, "What if I get halfway down there and you're out?" I said, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I understand that." But anyway, so I felt confident then. At two tables to go, I felt like I was in with the chance. And I think you've got to believe in that. If you want to win something like that, I think you've got to think that you're a chance all the way through. You've got to back yourself, basically.
I noticed you mentioned a few hands there, Phil, that you remember. You know, you mentioned the Kings. I mean, we always remember hands, don't we? It's amazing how good our memory is when we're remembering poker hands, good or bad. Yeah. Is there one hand you look at sort of on your way through to the final table that was a real key, you know, possibly the key hand for you?
There's probably two. On the money, I was just after the money. I was 1.3 million, and a woman went in for she went all in 640,000. The guy next to me, Phil Green, he called 640,000. I jammed over the top with ace king of diamonds and actually opened my cards because I thought Phil Green had called, and I didn't realize that he hadn't called my all in, and he had the opportunity to do it. He woke up with ace king off, and he actually called. He looked at my hand and still called me. So as it was, we put a flop out. There was a jack in the window, so she hit a set of jacks, one diamond on the flop, and I got run of diamonds for my nut flush, which took two people out, which gave me 3.6 million. So I was pretty comfortable then. I was happy with myself then, and that was luck. I played it as it is. The poker gods did the rest. I went to another table. I sat there. I had about 3.8, 3.9 million. The blinds were 50,000, 100,000, and 100,000. Someone on the button raised to 200,000. So it was 100,000 for me to call. I had king two of spades. Can't remember the exact hand, but I know what it was. There was a ten of spades, six of spades, and a four of diamonds. Not sure about suits, but I know there was two spades. I've checked. He's bet 250,000. I've still got about 3.8, 3.6 behind me. He's bet 250,000. Well, I'm second nut flush draw. I've got to call 250,000. The turn card was a 2. So I've got king 2. So it's given me the flush draw and the 2. He's jammed for 2.4 million, which is like extraordinary. I thought I couldn't understand why he'd done that. And I was talking to him about it, and I said, "What reason you've small bet, and then jammed for 2.4 million?" It just felt like he wanted to get me off the hand. It felt like he didn't want me to play. So I hummed and ahed for 5 minutes and chatted to him, and he was a bit reluctant to speak to me. And then he calls time on me. But it was about 3 or 4 minutes. He called time on me, and I think that was 30 seconds to act. The last 10 seconds I called, and he turned over 10-7 offset. So he hit his 10, but I rivered a flush. I rivered the jack of spades. It was given a flush, which I think he was a bit sick about. Yeah. I did hear about it from other people that he wasn't very happy. But that's poker. You know, that was something that I risked. It didn't feel right to me. It was obviously the wrong call, but the right call at the end.
Well, we need those, you know, everybody who wins a big tournament or goes very deep in a tournament will tell you certain hands where, you know, things need to go your way sometimes, don't they? So
yeah, exactly. You can't go through waiting for the cards and getting the cards and hoping they'll hold up. You've got to take risks, and you've got to make your opportunities.
And having a look at social media over the last few days and since your win, the reaction has been huge. I mean, the friends and family coming out from everywhere to wish you all the best with your victory. Has there been anyone in particular that might have surprised you with the reaction there, or has it just been positive overall?
It's positive overall. My friends, obviously, I've got the bragging rights now that I can, when I go to the games, they pat me on the back and say to me it was a good job, which is very respectful. There's no haters that I've come across as yet. Probably a few jealous people, but they don't really show it. I think everyone's excited as what I am. They know how much I love and enjoy poker. It's a passion of mine, and I played it for, as I said, so many years. And we grew up playing cards over the years, and it's just something I can sit down and enjoy and concentrate.
have the poker aspirations changed somewhat? Are you looking to perhaps play a little bit more on a regular basis, or take it up as a full-time pursuit?
I'll take it up full time when I retire. But other than that, I would like to play more. As I said, as much as my wife will let me play, I'll endeavour to play as much as I can. Would I like to? Look, I don't think it's we're able to have a lot of pros in Australia at the moment. There's not a lot of money going around in tournaments to play and to become a professional player. I think you could live, if you're a single and had a decent bankroll behind you, you could probably do that. But like the WPT, for instance, in America is $1 million if you win it. So, like if we're talking $1 million win, that'd be fantastic. That'd be something where you got a bankroll and you could set yourself up to play. $50,000 is not really enough, but the money's gone to good places. But at the end of the day, it's not enough to turn around and say that I'm qualified. And it gets back to, like I played well, but I don't class myself as a professional player. I class a recreational player, and I try to hone my own skills and see what I'm doing right. If I'm walking out of an event or the club or the pub numerous times early, I ask myself, why am I doing this? What do I need to tweak my game to make it better?
In terms of Phil, obviously you've got WPT Deep Stacks coming up not far from you in May, and then I guess poker will gradually come back around the country in terms of going up a level now to casino tournament poker, a bit of a higher buy-in. But is that something you want to sort of start to look at a bit more?
Yeah, definitely.
Under Melbourne?
Definitely. I'd like to play the World Poker Tour down in the Gold Coast and Star. Yeah, definitely. That's on the agenda for sure. And we go to Melbourne every year. The mates go to Melbourne. I don't play in the Aussie Millions, which is a 10K buy-in. I'll try and satellite in there, but not outlay that much. And it'll cost a lot to play. But I play in reasonable amount of events. I've been quite successful in the last 2 APTs. I've cashed in both of them and this one here.
Now, I have to ask, Phil, I mean, obviously your wife is your biggest supporter and of course the first you went to after your victory. But I understand she's picked up a little bit of bling of her own since you've won the bracelet. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Ironically, a mate of mine plays poker and he buys and sells jewelry. And he was going through the list while we were having a chat about different things, and he come across this diamond bracelet there, and I said, "What do you want for that?" So we come to a deal. We struck a deal together, and I brought it home, and she was elated. She was wrapped, and I said, "Well, this is your bling now. This is my bling, and this is your bling. So you give some, you get some, don't you?"
We'll let you play more poker now, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's here with me now. Actually, she's just having a snigger. But it's all about letting me off the leash a bit more.
Can we take a look? Can we take a look at the bling there? It's been a while since we've actually seen some silverware. Look at that. Not only does he get the bracelet, but he also gets the QPC ring. If you don't mind, that's top value there, Ben.
Very nice, very nice. We can only dream. We can only dream, can't we? I mean, just as you mentioned, May. Well, obviously, just for our viewers, obviously we've got we've got the QPC again back in May for WPT up in Queensland. WPT Deep Stacks, APL Poker Tour, the first ever Sydney event. I think
Check Ray's got one coming.
Check Ray's Six Max Series is coming up as well in a couple of weeks' time. Yes.
Yeah.
Southern Poker Tour in Victor Harbour. There'll be
championships in Adelaide. I think
I've heard the one about Adelaide. Yes.
Yeah.
It's really May is a massive month actually. So Lando will try and keep up if we can, as best as we can.
As we always do, Ben. Phil, it has been an absolute delight speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking the time out tonight.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It's been great. Go Team Phil.
Go Team
I got bragging
Phil.
rights now. Give me a bit of respect on the table, you guys. Hey?
Go Team Phil, indeed. Backing Team Phil all the way.
Told us what you were calling with, so there's no respect left.
There's even. I said to a mate, I got bragging rights. He goes, "Everyone will want to take you out, you idiot." Oh, that's probably right too. So I took the champ out. Yeah, there's bragging rights right there.
Exactly. Thanks,
All
Phil.
right.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Ben.